disease control and the soil biology. Oh my goodness. There's a mouthful in itself, Andy, but how does the biology control disease? Like, I know we know how, but we want to make sure our audience understands the reason that the biology is able to affect diseases in the plants.
When I first started doing this a long, long time ago,
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to, always wanted to be organic and natural. And so my very first house call that somebody called me up, and I remember it because it was really weird. I may have told it to you. The lady says, I have a bad ant problem. I have a real, real bad ant. Couldn't figure out where the ants was coming from.
Mm-hmm.
So to make a long story short, she has two trees. One tree is on the right side of the house, and another tree is on the left side of the house. One on the right side is the one that whenever ants will climb up a tree, that shows you there's something wrong with the tree. When there's massive amounts of ants climbing up a tree, because usually the tree gets sick, it becomes food for the ants, and the ants bring all the creatures who come and eat it. So the tree on the right side it's where the bib or the water would get hooked into it. So it was constantly getting water. It was leaking. Yeah. People would use the hose. A tree was getting way too much water. The whole soil was soaked. On the other side, no water. The tree was totally happy and perfectly happy, and the ants weren't bothering it. The ants were climbing up the tree on the roof of the house, coming into the house from the roof.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, I was saying, the ants are, look up. You'll see the little ant trails in the corners. Oh, my God. And so I figured, so that was what got me started thinking. I thought, gee whiz, why we're not getting any no comments or anything. Nobody there. Am I missing the?
No, we just haven't had any comments come up yet. I know Lily's upstairs. She hasn't got on yet. I'll yell at her. Hold on.
Oh, God, there you go. That's it. There you are. Now we're starting.
Hey, Marge. Cheers, man.
Hi, cheers, man. Cheers, Morris. Hey, man. There you go. You guys are late. You guys better be here on time next time. So I was saying that my very first house call, this is how it started. The lady had an ant problem because the ants were, she already had the ant problem, but because they were coming in the house, she was then very aware. She was I have ants everywhere in the house, in the kitchen, over here, and she couldn't figure out where they were coming from. And there was two trees, one on the right side and one on the left side. One side, it had the water bib, and it was constantly getting water, drip, 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 water all the time, the hose, the house, the tree on the left side, nothing. The ants were attacking the one on the right side. They were climbing up and literally falling down on the roof, or maybe jumping, or maybe the branch was touching, because they were coming in through the roof of her house.
Yeah.
Good morning, Sally. So I started thinking, why does one tree, why are the ants going to this one and not to, why are they not going to both of them?
Yeah, same tree, they should be going to both.
It was the water. I go, okay, wait. So the difference is there's a bib here, and I can see it's dripping. I see the soil soaking. It's wet all the time. But this other tree is totally dry. That's the difference. And what does that mean? The tree is telling me, I'm starving. I'm hungry. I'm really stressed out. I don't feel good. Right, all that stuff. And the tree on the left side is going, hey, dude, what's happening? Beautiful day, isn't it? I'm sorry, my sister's not feeling well. Maybe you want to look at her, right?
Yeah.
My internet was so slow, I wanted first shot. Good. Hey, Word. Look at that. Word Compost. That's a cool name. Word One Compost. What is that?
I think it's Ward, W-A-R-D.
Word One Compost. Wow, Ward. Hey, I've never seen you before, man. Say hi. Hi. And so that started me right on the path of, gee, something's going on in the soil. Something's going on in the soil because of water, and it was city water, of course. Something's going on with the soil that's causing the tree to do this. And what is it? At that time, I had no idea about trace minerals, no idea about properly feeding plants and stuff, because this is like when I first just started. I don't even know if I had a spraying rig yet, because I didn't start doing that. So I would do the normal thing, go out in the store. It was difficult to buy organic fertilizers. They didn't make them. They didn't have
Yeah.
organic fertilizers around. So I would have to go, what the heck? And I have to go on. I don't even. I was going to say go online. The internet didn't even start until 1980, 90s or some shit like that, right? 1996. So I didn't even have any way. Go to the store. You got any organic fertilizer? They look at me like,
Are you nuts?
yeah, I'm crazy. Or do you have it? No, go to. And I said, well, you can buy this. You can buy that. The one organic fertilizer that I found was because I went to a farmer. I used to go to a farmer. His name was Aerosol. For some reason, I always remembered him because my dad we used to go by all the time on our way to Homestead Farmers Market. And one day I saw this sign, vegetables, organic vegetables, fruit. Hey, let's pull it and check it out. It was an amazing fruit. You eat the fruit and go, oh my God, this is delicious. Oh, let me eat that. Oh my God. You go, hey, what the heck is that? And he would say, this is all organic. And I use this product. And the product is called Fertrell, which is still in business, Fretrell. And you get it from New Jersey someplace. And that's a weird combination of rock dust and a bunch of other things that they do. They take oyster shells. They do all the kinds of things, bad guano. They mix it in. It's really, very cool.
Yeah.
So I would order that I would use that. But I still learned. It didn't take me very long to realize that. And this, I was telling this yesterday to the garden club I was giving. That because one lady says, I have an organic garden. I have organic fertilizers, yet everything's still being attacked by all these different things. What am I doing wrong? And I said, well, organic fertilizers do not work in a soil that doesn't have the proper biology.
Yeah.
So just because you have an organic garden and you're not taking care of, doesn't mean you're properly taking care of the soil biology. You get organic fertilizer, bring it in. That's not taking care of the soil biology. I asked her, do you have a worm farm? Do you do anything to increase the biology? No. Do you use compost? No. Or the compost they use, for example, is totally different because they make it. We don't want any animal manure in our compost. I go, okay, right? And so that's a big key to getting the biology is using some type of animal manure in your compost process. Whether the best, of course, would be steer, but there's also so many different types of other types of animals you can use, from chicken to whatever. At least you're getting some biology from all these different animals, right? But they didn't do that. She was just get her food, put it in, make compost from the food. We decompose it, and it looks great, but it doesn't have the biology in it to make it happen, to provide the nutrition to the plants.
Yeah. Well, without the biology, you can't get the nutrition. It's not being broken down from what's supposed to be there, which is organic material, for it to break down and feed the biology in the plant. Without that, how are you supposed to grow plants? They're not going to grow.
Right. And when I talk to her, I also find out that she really doesn't do anything to the soil, doesn't use compost as much. She gets compost from someplace. She doesn't even know how to do compost tea, let alone, in order to have really good compost tea, brother, you have to make the best compost in the world so that all the biology is in the compost.
Yeah.
You see, right? Then you can make really, really good compost tea, because that's one of the best ways to bring the soil back to life. What I'm doing here, I'm using not only the biology. When I hate to use the word weeds, but we know what they are when I say weeds. These are different plants that came up on their own, that decided they want to do it. I said, great, thank you very much. I take that, make a tea from it, spray it back again. At the same time, I have some really cool compost, because I had to move my worm farm from one place to another. And just today, I was layering it. I can tell you all about it. It's really cool. Hi, Midwest outlaw. Oh, Midwest. Oh, my God. You're really an outlaw? Oh, my God. I'd love to see you probably have a mask on, right?
Oh, no, he says he's the marshal. Yeah,
the marshal. Oh, yeah.
No, he's saying hi to martial artists. Okay.
Oh, I see. Oh, it's a quick draw. So I gave a talk a little bit in the garden club, and everybody had hand problems. Everybody in the garden club had hand problems, and they all have issues in terms of this disease and that pest, and this disease and that pest. And so just because you're organic doesn't mean you can have the issue solved, unless you happen to be really good at it. And you happen to also be a farmer. A farmer would have animals. I have never seen a farm that doesn't have any animals. It's not a farm. I have a farm, but we don't allow animals here. I go, okay, right?
Well, there's a lot of farms that don't have animals, that they're growing crops and crops only.
Right, right. So I'm talking about biology.
Yeah.
I'm talking about how, and these same people would have issues with their crops because it doesn't have the proper biology, and that's the key to controlling diseases. And that's what we're talking about today, controlling diseases. So I go to a lot of places, whether it be trees or garden. What's wrong with my garden? And I'm looking at it, and I'm going, well, and I have a saying: I'll give you $100 for every earthworm you find on your property. Not one. Go out and dig it. And it doesn't count if it's over here by, like for example, I go out now on my little island. There are worms in there. There are earthworms in there. I have no problem finding. In my backyard, forget about finding a earthworm because they're not there.
Yeah. Yet you're getting there. You'll have them there soon, Andy.
Yeah, right. But I already started adding my worm compost to that. And my worm compost is full of earthworms' eggs. I was actually listening to what you had told me about the eggs. And I'm looking there. These little round they look like little balls.
Yeah.
And those are the eggs. I'm going, hi everybody, how you guys doing? And so I'm burying them into the ground. It's a slow process. But so I learned, so in order to tell this lady this is how you're going to get rid of the ant problem. You're not going to get rid of the ant. I use 3-year leaf mold, alpha vermicompost and biodynamic amendments. Great, man. That's more than 1 billion other people are doing on the planet. You understand? People just do not get it. And there's so many different ways that you can combine things together to get to results. You have to work with what you got. You really have to work what's available around you to use. So in my worm farming, for example, I went over to my little island over there, and I said, okay, pine needles, those pine needles will fall down. They're all decomposing. The rain washed them down to my streets. I collected them, a little bit of soil. They have some leaves. So I try to take whatever biology is there to add them to the worms. And then I also added some newspapers. You slice the newspapers up, and cardboard, you slice them up because they will eat through that stuff like crazy.
It's a carbon source.
Right. And one of the things I still have to do, I'm almost there, is I have a whole bunch of biochar. And biochar is really very cool if you don't know what it is, but I'm going to have a guest to come on. I already talked to him Sunday. He did a burn. This is how you make biochar. And so it's a burn at a gardening club.
By pyrolysis.
What is it?
Pyrolysis. You're burning without oxygen, and you're burning off all the gases from the material. That's what makes the charcoal. To make biochar, though, you actually have to inoculate it to make sure that you're getting the biology in there. That's where you're talking about putting it into your worm bin. You're going to get a blast of biology into that.
Exactly right. So I've learned of all the years I've been doing this is how do I help that tree? Because when I saw it, I said, well, the tree's sick. I got to heal the tree. That will stop the ants from climbing up there. But then you got to do something with your non-existing soil because that's where the ants are living.
Did you ever get them to stop the overwatering, Andy, where the roots had a chance to dry out and not be anaerobic all the time?
That was the first thing I did. I said, well, first thing you have to do is immediate repair. So the immediate repair means you got to fix that water leak.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Your soil's anaerobic. There's no oxygen in there because
you gotta fix that water leak. I told him, at that time I said microbes because that's what was coming out of my mouth. Microbes don't swim well. So I can change it now and say the biology does not swim well. Again, you have biology in the water, but the soil biology does not swim well. They need air. They're not swimmers. They don't wear water stressing. What is water stressing?
You can overstress your plants with water. Too much water, you can stress your plants by drying back too much.
You're not stressing the water. You're not stressing the water. I would stress the water. I'm going to go to alcohol. I'm not going to use water. That's stressing the water. I
That'd
thought
be
that was
stressing your plant.
the older I get, the more I get stressing water. Why would you stress? But yeah, water stress. Remember, the higher the stress, the greater the pest, the greater the disease.
Yeah.
That's what. So water stressing definitely does that, and you'd be surprised how I think 99% of the people here are overwatering. That's the first thing that comes to mind. And anybody I talk to, overwatering every time, overwatering every time. And it's like, and there's not a single worm because they all have drowned it. And recently, and there's a big difference between Mother Nature raining and then the watering that we're using. Big difference, right?
Well, and
So
they're
Mother
using
Nature's
city water. They're killing the biology with the city water.
exactly right. And they're overwatering all the time. People water like 5 minutes every day. All the sprinklers go on every day, every other day. It's like, you're kidding me. And I always tell people you have to have a dry period in between water. You can't water all the time. Maybe water Monday and Thursday, and then don't water. Let the rest of the time dry out.
Well, let your roots try to dig down and find water deeper down. It also adds air and aeration and a penetration for any water that does fall to get down because you've got deeper roots.
Right. One of my I can't call it a book. It was like a little ebook. How to water train your lawn.
Okay.
How to water train your lawn. Actually, it was water train the gardener, water train the human beings. They water too much. So what happens is you have shallow roots. You have shallow. It's the same thing with trees. You don't water deeply, you can have shallow roots. And if the roots are shallow, they're already stressed out.
Yeah.
They need the taproot. They also need the surface root. They need both. But the taproot dies, and that's what happens a lot of time. Water and air does not get down in there anymore because they don't have any. They've messed up the normal setup that would normally happen to allow water to get down, and air to get on there. Water. One of the things I think I'm not sure we talked about it here, but basically I tell people water follows the energy. And the biology follows the water.
We really talked about it here. Not yet, anyway.
And the biology follows the water. See, and the biology would rather follow the energy, but the biology has figured out it's easier to use the water to follow the energy because the water would naturally flow towards the energy, then you follow the path of the energy. So I've learned my first thing that I had to do with that person was, okay, yeah, you have to really control the water. I took her out, went out to the front of her house and said, look at that tree, look at that tree. Do you see the water dripping over there? I said, well, yeah. I said, well, that's part of your problem. That's only part of it. Yeah, that's only part of it because you really have to look at the whole thing. It was like dead. It was like totally. The ants were going. I think this is great for us because there's nothing here to stop us, nothing here to control us. The roots topped out. I'm not sure what does it mean. What does it mean? The roots topped out, tapped out.
Tapped out, and it's going down, and then it can't go any further, and it's tapping out. It's tapping on that clay and can't get through. Yeah. That's what I'm assuming he's saying.
It's called a hard pan, where it hits a solid thing. And here in California, I'm not sure about other states, but I know in California we're clay. A lot of the soil, it's a sublayer of clay. It's a mixture of clay. And
I got lots of clay up here too.
Right. So if you add water to clay and then add heat, what do you get?
Ceramics. Hey, a dinner plate. Yeah, a dinner plate.
Exactly. And that's what happens to the soil, the layer. Nothing gets through it. The roots will die off because they need oxygen. Now, the microbes, the biology is not down there. And so it's a massive problem. And it's just a bad habit. It's a real bad habit of people watering and watering and lightly watering. So I tell them, okay, you have to do something to your soil. First of all, stop the leak. I can tell you what you need to do to the tree, but you can't do it. You pay me, and I'm happy to do it for you. It's like a doctor. It's only certain things you can do to the tree, a person. I'm capable of using a machine or whatever. So what I was doing then, it was a deep root feeder.
Right, so you put the big rod down in and
yeah. So I also had an Easy Grow unit. Easy Grow is a fertigator. You know what it's called fertigation. You know what that is? Right. So it's
Fertigation is a watering system, and you're
a,
adding fertilizer in. Oh, you're
exactly right.
talking about the one that you attach to the hose and
No,
it draws it out.
that's
Correct.
that's a common one, which is about like that at the gallon. You put your stuff in there and you attach it to the hose and it goes through. They also have them for the sprinkler system. It's
Yeah,
a heavier build, handle
and for
pressure.
farmers, don't
And
forget the
it's for farmers.
farmers.
Mainly it's for
Big one.
farmers to put their MG in there, right? Or whatever fertilizer they want, and it will go out through the system. So I would use that, but I converted for organics because organics, the biology is a lot bigger than the chemical particles. It wouldn't go
Yeah,
through. So I drilled the hole, made the hole a little bigger. So it was like 1,000 to 1 ratio, 1,000
mhm.
parts water to 1 part of the chemical fertilizer. So I
Yeah,
got it down to 100 to 1 using. So I would do compost tea. I would learn. I was using whatever. I was using my super seaweed mixture. But the compost tea was really cool because what I would do is I would make a tea bag, put it in the unit, and let it constantly produce this thing. And maybe after a week, take it out, replace another tea bag in there, and do
yeah.
that. And I found that just doing that and getting, and then I was also aerating it. So
Mhm.
the one of the reasons why I liked my machine as opposed to just hooking up to the hose. When I was hooking up to the hose, it wasn't really aerating, right? It's
Right.
taking it was just water going through there, but it was siphoning the biology into the ground. So I've learned that aerating it is what is the trick because you want to aerate the biology anyway in your water, but you also want to get oxygen down to the soil, right? You want to get some oxygen down there with the biology. So my machine does that automatically, aerates it. So I inject it. So it's a big unit that I would inject into the ground. So when I started doing that, I started to get some results in me, but the problem is that it takes a long time to work with a tree. Cott called in to
Oh,
save. I didn't see that.
got called in to save a prized white maple at the center of Austin's
Austin.
natural gardens labyrinth. That biodynamic compost tea plus seaweed saved it.
That's right. That's right. And your biodynamic compost tells me that you know how to make good compost with the biology because that's what all biodynamics is all about. Teaching people how to properly make the biology using what you have. So that's really good, man. I really like what you're doing because that's exactly what we need to do. So I started with that tree. So that tree didn't really have any diseases. It was just dying from not getting nutrition. And so foliar feeding at that time, I didn't have. That's one of the things I said. Well, gee, how am I going to feed this tree if I? Hi, Andy. I'll get it. Hi, Andy. That's another way of saying it.
Or are you just high, Andy? Yeah,
Or are
yeah.
you just hi, Andy? Right? Stoned in. Now, that's one of the reasons why I decided to get a sprayer.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I realized my understanding is that taproot shoots deep until it reaches the fresh water supply. That's right. So,
And
and
the
here
thing
in
is,
California,
and Andy, do you know how deep one of those tap roots can actually
yeah,
go?
yeah, yeah,
Elaine Ingham found one. They were on a plateau, and they
yeah,
went down, and it was like thousands of feet, or I think it was
yeah,
2,300 feet or something,
yeah,
into a cave, and the
yeah.
tap root from the tree on the top of the
It's up there.
plateau was in the cave.
Right, right. Yeah. I
Yeah,
was telling,
they go deep.
I've told people for a long time, I said, okay, especially here, like here in Malibu, I give you examples of their underground rivers. They used to be flowing. The problem is going on now because of climate change. The farmer, oh, we have water under there. We're going to just tap that water out. Well, guess what? The roots of the trees were down there getting that water. So this
Yeah,
one stone pine tree in Malibu, the river flows underneath it. The stupid people cemented it, stopped the water flow through it. So now the tree is going. I need a little more water, guys, because
yeah.
I'm not getting it from down there. But Mother
Well,
Nature solved the problem for them. Mother Nature broke that cement up, and the river flows through again. And
yeah,
I was telling her, well, why are you? Oh, it's going to take away all our property. No, it's going to kill your tree because after a while you can't. Trees do not survive very well with city water. Even though this lady bought a whole filtration system, so that's really good. She hooked it into the So she has better off than most people, but now she has to do the deeper watering. So it's on a drip. This one lady's on a drip. So it gets about 45 minutes, nice and deep. And every once in a while, the gardener switches over to 10 minutes every 4 times a week. And I go, no, 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 no. So most trees, I set them for maybe once a month to get a nice deep watering.
Yeah.
I say maybe some trees you can just leave them alone. If they're you can tell they're tapping into something down there. You can tell. You go, look at this thing, right?
Well,
A
and
lot
then
of time
consider the tap root or water roots are the ones that go deep. Anything that's up close to the surface, those are feeder roots. They need to get out into the organic material. And that's basically what Super NASA is saying. You know, the surface roots are not for drinking. No, they're for feeding. And he also mentions, because he taps trees for their sap, the surface roots is where it dumps the excess sap. So I would say that it's there for feeding the biology, for making the biology stronger.
That's right. That's exactly what the tree does. The tree has one of the reasons why it does that is it says, you know, if I put more sap down there, there's going to be more health for me, and I'm going to do better because I'm going to feel good. I don't know what's going on. So that's exactly what happens.
Yeah.
And so you'll find that trees, because they give back when they drop their leaves, goes back into the soil, decomposes. I thought, what was twice a day? Well, I missed that part.
I thought 1 hour twice a day for watering, you know. It depends on your crop, of course, you know, what you're trying to grow, how much water you're going to be using.
Yeah, it depends on the drainage too as well. And I know I lived in Florida. It rained every morning.
Mm-hmm.
For a long time. It just rained every morning for maybe 7 or 8 months out of the year. When I lived in Costa Rica, it rained every morning year round.
Yeah. Temperature and humidity.
Yeah, so it's not.
Andy, I got to ask you a question, brother.
Yeah, I didn't do it.
This has happened to me where I've been driving and it's a beautiful blue sky and it's raining. Not a cloud in the sky, but it's raining. Have you ever had that happen to you?
In Florida a few times.
Okay.
There's nothing up there for it to rain, but it is raining. And you had mentioned the biology do something with rain, so maybe that's more likely it than actual clouds doing.
Yeah, because it's. But I've had also. I've been drove down a highway, and the one side of the highway was pouring rain, and the other side of the highway was dry as a bone. It just the craziness of nature just amazes me.
That happens to me in Florida. It doesn't happen here a lot, but in Florida, oh yeah, I grew up in Florida. I have a girl. I had my next door neighbor right across the street, and many times, either way, it's not always one side, but usually her side or my side. There's a wall of rain. You can put your hand like this and go back and what the heck is this? A wall of rain right there, not going anywhere. It's just sitting right there. You're looking up and go, what? And the wall runs that way and it stops. So in Florida, so I guess it has to do with the environment that it's conducive to making the rain do that. And to me, the rain was always warm. I can go out in my swimsuit and spray. I did that a lot of times. My favorite thing is to go out when I was young in Florida and I had the spraying rig. I would go out in the rain. I had a rig so that the machine was covered and I'll be out there spraying. And people saying, why aren't you wasting stuff spraying in the rain? I says, no, the plants are open to feeding now. This is when they want to feed. So what does Silly say? When my bees drowned?
So when my trees drowned because of too much rain, I guess it suffocated the feeder roots. And that's exactly true. It created such an anaerobic pocket. The biology that was feeding the tree all perished, couldn't maintain itself, and all anaerobic biology, and you have no food going in. It's like, how long do we last without food? You know, can we last weeks upon weeks?
And that's exactly what's happening here. If you recall, it rained in January all the time. I didn't work. It rained in February all the time. I didn't work. In some places, there's a major flooding and the major landslides. But in a lot of places, especially here in Malibu, those trees suffered a lot because they were not getting any air. They couldn't breathe, and they
Yeah.
pretty much died out. And they would say, "Can you help me?" I go, "Well, in the future, you should learn to better take care of your soil because you would never have this problem if you had organic matter in the
Yeah.
soil. Most of them are just clay. It's just sitting there. You can see it. And I keep telling people, as soon as the tree drops the leaf and the leaf is doing like this, coming down, it doesn't even hit the ground. These people pick it up and haul it away. I'm going,
Yeah.
wow, right? Whoa. Even right here, I refuse to take anything out. There's a green bin for throwing green waste. It's never used. I take everything and put it right back again. And I try to teach that to my other customers. Okay, stop with the nonsense about having a clean soil, a clean yard, no leaves. They hate weed. They pull the weed out and haul it away. So
Yeah.
and of course the water will sit on the clay, which will sit there and drown the trees. And a lot of times what happens is that one of the ways I learned how to mitigate that a little bit is when I do the sprayer, and people will say, "Wait a minute, why are you pumping water down in there into the root systems when you know they're getting too much water?" I'm pumping biology in there and air. My system it's super oxygenated.
Yeah.
So I got a bubbler system in there, bubbles. The microbes the biology is doing this thing, and I inject it into the tree. What it also does is that it leaves little air holes
Yeah.
for it to breathe. And then the trees that I work, my customers' trees, I use what's called a tree vent. I call them a tree vent. Oh, by the way, I have your book sent out tomorrow. I got the address,
cool.
everything's all set, and I have some seeds for you too.
Did you sign it?
Oh shit, I gotta sign it? No, I don't sign books for free. Send me $1,000 and I'm happy to sign it for you.
Oh, okay. I'll
Yesterday,
lend you the 1,000. You give me back 2. 100%
yesterday,
interest. Yeah.
yesterday at the garden show, I had some books, and the lady says, "How much is the book?" Well, the book's $20, and it says, "Can you sign it?" Well, that's another 1,000, and they were like, "Okay, I don't want that." No, yeah, of course I will. I will sign it, and you're gonna love it too. It has everything. This is one of the best books I've ever
Cheers, baby.
written. I've been doing it for a long time. It's going to be number 22, and so it clearly explains the whole disease things. Clearly explains it's better to work with Mother Nature than against her.
Oh yeah.
That was the thing I would say. So I've learned that. So I didn't have any way to spray the tree with a machine. So what I did was I bought a I don't know what you call it. It's a brass device that goes on the bib. I didn't know about the fertigation. Oh yeah, well I'm not really funny. I'm trying to be serious here. Lily Silly says you're too funny, Andy. So I didn't know about the fertigation unit until much later, but I did get it's a unit, it's a brass unit that hooks onto the bib. You hook up the hose to that, and it's got a little line. And you put that in your bucket.
Yeah, for suction to suck the.
Yeah, it sucks it through. And so I would be making my biology in there. And at that time, I was not really hip to how to really make biology, how to do that. So I would get seaweed, I would put it in there. I like fish emotion because I feel, wow, this is really alive. This is really doing its thing. And a lot of times what I would do is I would go out to the farms and I would get some animal manure that's already composted fairly, so it doesn't really stink. Use that in my tea mixture. So I was already on the path of I didn't know anything about worms. All I knew is something that I go in there and then I would spray it because on the hose bib, you can only do 25 foot. The hose can only be 25 foot long. Anything longer, it won't suck it through. But I would just sit there and spray the stuff. You could see it. And you can see the difference because that was my first experience with foliar feeding because it bypasses the problem of the soil, of the roots. But it does. It's as if you were injecting yourself, intravenous feeding yourself. If you don't eat, you're still going to die because your stomach is going to go.
Yeah, unless you're continuously living on intravenous. Yeah.
Even then, if you continue to eat intravenous, your stomach's going to die, and you're going to die no matter what. There's no way you can live 100 years It continues into feeding because your body needs all these other systems needs your stomach to work. I mean, this is
Yeah.
my opinion. I don't know if anybody's ever done that, but I think that it's an emergency thing. Yeah, give them something for now. You assume that when they recover, that they're going to start eating normally, right? So that's the same thing
Well,
with the
you look
plant.
at people, my friend, that are in comas. They're not eating. They're living on that intravenous feeding, and they're
Right.
basically, I think, their body, their biology, and their guts, their intestine, it just slowly goes to sleep until food is reintroduced into the system, just like our seeds and the biology in the soil needs the right conditions to grow. So is the biology in your guts. That's why it's so important to focus not only on your plant's biology, but your biology in your stomach to break down what you're giving yourself, considering we understand what we're doing in our soils now. It works for us too.
Well, I have no real experience with people in a coma in terms of when they're intravenous, but I do know that that's what the thing hangs there and
Yeah.
they're being fed this. But I don't see them lasting very, very long. They either have to die or wake up and get
Yeah.
healed. So it's for me, it's a temporary thing. They eventually will have to get their stomach and their bodies eating eating food. You can't stay in a coma forever. But I like the idea of calling trees being in a coma. Hey, man, fighting the evil, and you spell gardener wrong. Oh my God, you spelled gardener wrong. You have to fix that right now. Seriously, you gotta go back there and edit. I am not gonna go for that. I quit. I'm leaving now. Bye. I'm out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he
You're
spelled
a half
gardener wrong.
invisible anyway. You're not even from this planet, you keep telling me.
Can
From
he
some
can he can
alien
he
place.
can you spell it right, please? You have to spell it right. You can't just do that to me. Where is it at? Here, see now, yeah. It's a hey man, there's an E after. It's not like James Gardner. It's Gardner. It's okay. People do that all the time. When I did I was on the I used to go to Santa Barbara in the studio, so I was on FM station, and had a lot of. There you go. Oh my goodness! Look at this. Look there. Oh, you put it. There you go.
Oh,
See, there you
the
go.
one you're talking? I'm so sorry.
It's all right, man.
Don't leave, Andy. Don't
People would
leave.
people would say, "There's something wrong with your website. We can't find it. We can't send you email." And not only did they spell Gardner wrong, but invincible. I'm going, what the heck?
Hey,
I
now
even have
invincible. I like invincible. Yes.
I even got a website spelled that way, the weird way to then direct people to my website. So it's a never ending thing with me. But anyway, so I learned that it's important to understand that the root systems are not working. Therefore, you have to intravenously feed them, which is
Yeah.
through the leaves. So the key to the disease control is twofold: short term and long term. The short term, you don't want the tree to die or the
Fine.
plant to die, right? You don't
Yeah.
want the plant to die. That's a short term. So I've learned that foliar feeding is very, very important because that's how they get their food, like right away. So you
Yeah.
can do that on a regular basis, foliar feeding. You have to learn how to make. So you basically are making really good liquid biology. Like compost tea is one of the best things to spray to these guys, as long as your compost tea, right, has lots of trace minerals in it and a lot of biology in it. So it's one thing to have biology that you put together without any trace minerals, because the biology have to eat something to make
Well,
it
the
work.
trace minerals and the organic matter, like you're talking in Malibu, they're stealing that leaf as it's falling from the tree. There's no organic matter there for the biology to exist on.
And it's so insane. It's so insane. It's like every day. So I was at another customer's house on Tuesday. The gardener is constantly hauling stuff away, and I'm going, stop! Why are you throwing it? She says to clean it out. I said, well, can we just? So I dump it in certain places on the property. It decomposes very, very nicely, and we put it back out again. Uh,
Yeah.
but then she mentions there's a pile of stuff over here. I want you to throw it away. I keep saying that stuff is called soil. It's going to make soil. And then there isn't a day, there isn't a week, or definitely not a week, a month go by when somebody says, "What's going on with my property?" Like this guy, this gardening show, that talk that I gave. What's going on with my property? And the first thing is you see the gardener hauling stuff away, and I'm going, gee, let me think about that question. And literally, the guy walks by me with bags of leaves and grass clippings and everything,
Yeah.
dumping on the truck. At the same time, the lady's saying, "What's wrong with my property?" And I'm going,
Yeah.
"Ugh, you've got to be kidding me!" And there seems to be no consciousness for this, no consciousness whatsoever. So you have to have the consciousness. You have to say, "Yeah, it's alive." Right? And I
Yeah.
acknowledge that it's alive. Where can you find them? I need to learn about microbes. Hey, man. Yeah.
Well, you've got Andy's books, and then actually Matt Powers is putting on a new course. It starts here, I think, in 8 days on microscopy, so that you can learn how to use a microscope to find the biology in your soil, in the plants. He's using some different methodologies with the lighting. He's actually able to fluoresce the ecto and endomycorrhizae that's actually on your roots to show in real time that it's there and alive.
I want to take that course. I love to take that course because I always wanted to get a microscope that I can plug into the computer and we can show what we're talking about.
He's got one. It's actually 45% off. He had the Spencer Scientific or SW Scientific build it to his basically specs, and he's actually got it for 45% off for people that take his course.
You can plug it into a
$6
computer.
grand.
That's
$6 grand. The one with the light. You can get the camera. It'll plug right into your laptop. 6,000, and he's got it on 45% off.
Daddy, would you give me that, please? I want that.
Baby, I'm waiting to get it myself, okay?
Because I've looked at a whole bunches of them. They're just too cheap.
Yeah.
And it's just when you hook it up to the computer, you can't see nothing. You can't even. People look at it. What the heck is that?
Well, he does recommend other ones as too. Also, just this is the one that has the special light on it, so that you can really see what's going on with your biology.
One of the things, let's see, who was that? Fighting.evil. So listen, here's the thing. You're surrounded with biology. You're
breathing it right now.
You're breathing it, right? So there's biology everywhere. So what you want to do is you want to drive around your where you live. You see something growing really, really well. You go up to the person and say, "May I have some of your biology? Can I transfer some of your biology to my place?" Yeah, it's got the positive infectious energy in a few of his classes.
He used to teach kids in school, and he's got this laugh that's just every time I hear him,
where's he at? Where's he at anyway?
Matt Power, he just moved, I think, to Texas.
No, I mean, where is it on It's a Biology coming up, or is it on another show?
Oh, he's got his own. He's been on. He was on with Luna and Alex. He's been on my tour. He was actually one of the first people on my tour. But he's if you look for Matt,
text me the
Matt Powers. It's under the permaculture student.
Text me the information. I love to be able to be on that. But
he's got knowledge. He is the cutting edge. He does his own DNA sequencing, etc. And he teaches.
Let's have him on here. Let's have him on as a guest here.
Well, I'll reach out and see if I can arrange that.
Because I would love to talk to him. I would love to. Because I'm really fascinated by this, and I've been doing it for friggin' a long time. Okay, so it's like
Jeff Lowenfeld, another man. They've actually worked together. Jeff Lowenfeld actually, because Matt's written like 23 books as well.
Is that his book, Teaming with Microbes? Because I have that book.
Actually, I think that's Jeff Lowenfeld's book.
Teaming with Microbes. Right, I have that one.
Yeah, he has Jeff Lowenfeld read his books before he publishes them. To make sure that everything's right. But yeah,
great. So what I was saying is that the ideal thing you need to do is look around to see something's doing really well. You go there and you say, look, I would like to transfer some of your biology to my place. And that's what you would do. You would start immediately using that. But you'll find that it depends where you live. Because for me, it's and around here, you're not going to find places that do anything with biology. You have to go in the countryside. You have to find a farm, talk to the guy. Hey, I like to get a. So I keyed into what I did in Miami. I keyed into animal manure. I keyed into making compost with animal manure. So I
Mhm.
made. So I would go. My compost in Florida was made with. I had llama manure. I had goat manure. I had rabbit. I had steer. Steer and cow are different, but I had both of those. I had horse, an elephant manure. I think there was a few other ones that I'm missing, but my goal was to have a wide range of animals, which is what Mother Nature doesn't key into one animal. So
Yeah.
learn how to take all these animals and run it through your compost system, and you'll be surprised at the biology that you're going to end up with. Okay, that's how I ended up with worms. Worm farming is one of the simplest ways to ensure that you're going to get really good biology. And if you make compost, right, you're really good at making compost. That's one way to spread the biology. Because what I do is I tell people, okay, you have to buy this compost, and then I will come and inoculate your property. If you want me to inoculate your property without any soil, without any compost, it's going to take friggin' forever, if at all, because you're constantly killing it with the city water. It's hauling away the leaves. Not going to happen. So you have to decide. I mean, I tell people, I would love to take your money on a regular basis, but you're not going to get any results.
Yeah.
It's like going to a doctor and the doctor's, you tell a doctor, look, I got this bad cough. I think I'm going to die from cancer. The guy says, no problem. Take this drug. Keep smoking your cigarettes. Keep doing what you want to. It's fine. Just keep coming here every day, every week.
Keep paying me.
And penny. Exactly right. Exactly. And so I've learned to tell people, well, first of all, I tell the universe, don't send me people that don't have the conscience. Send me people that have reached some type of a level and understanding. Okay, so this lady calls me up. She says, I tell my gardener there's something wrong with the soil. There's something wrong with the soil. Why don't we just fix the soil? Then I heard your podcast. The ones I've done 700 podcasts over the
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, they were all done in HD, which was HD at that time, but it's really not HD now, right? So the quality is not there. And so she was ready. She says, I want, but, and then another lady says, oh, I've been making a compost for years. I still got the problems. Organic doesn't work. And of course, they said, I don't want any manure in my compost. That's awful. That's gross. I go, oh, gee. So you have to develop a conscious. All these guys here, I can tell, silly, you, everybody that's here would not enter our field of energy if they did not have that consciousness. There's no way we can be talking to some jerk who says, yeah, I like malathion. All these things are great chemicals. I'm into all that stuff. No, he will sit here going, these people are crazy, right? So,
yeah, he wouldn't last long watching. He'd be clicking off right away, going, "Well, these aren't my type of people."
Yeah, this is like BS, So in terms of finding microbes, you're surrounded with them. You just have to look, and if you want to start creating more microbes, it's really not that difficult to do. You just have to find. Well, ideally, it'd be really amazing if there was a farm near guy, and actually the guy was an organic farmer. That right there would be like gold mine. You go there, you go, please, please, please. I need some of your compost. Please, I need some of your biology. Please, please, please. Oh, and the guy would know already what you want. So that's happening more and more. I think there's more and more organic farmers out there that key into the biology.
Yes.
Even if you just go to a regular farm, the guy's using chemicals and all kind of stuff. If he has animals, then you have to say, well, what are you spraying the manure with? What chemicals are you? Oh, malathion for the manure. Forget it. So that's the first thing I ask people when I go to a farm. Are you organic? No. I say, well, what are you doing to the manure? Are you spraying? Oh, we're spraying it for flies. Okay, bye bye. So you have to you have to investigate, because a lot of these people
know your inputs.
Right, know your inputs, and you have to. So when I go to farmers market, and I said that this is organic farm, and I used to take my refractometer with me when I went to the farmer's market. I don't anymore because here's an organic farmer selling vegetables and fruits and stuff. I would go with my refractometer, and he says, "What is that?" I said, "I'm glad you asked. I'll buy that orange or whatever." And let me show you. It was really like a 6 or 5. And he says, "What does that mean?" I said, "Well, you may be an organic farmer, but you still got a lot to learn." I said, "Well, the soil has everything. I don't have to do anything." Well, there you go. That's your problem. It may be the soil has everything, but it may not have the biology to convert it to the plants. And if they don't use animal manure, they're out of it. I was taught every living being has a spirit or soil, plants, animal. That's right, Super. It does. I even acknowledge ants. I have a book. That's why in the background you see there. I'm not there with a knife attacking the ants. I'm dancing with the ants.
Yeah, that's one of your books too.
Yeah, and that's one of my book is called Dances with Ants. Because I do not into kill. Unfortunately, when I walk on an ant and kill it, we kill stuff all the time. It's hard for us not to be destructive, right? It's hard. Breathing, we kill things when we breathe them, right? And so walking is like, and I try to walk like a monk. Impossible. I can't. I said, "Oh, excuse me. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I didn't mean that. Oh my God." It's like shit. So I should tell Buddha, "Okay, I'm very destructive. I accept that." But so it's not that hard to find the biology, okay? Answer this pants. Come on, really, I've heard that so many times. And I get along really, really well with ants because I tell ants, yes, you have a right to be here. It's like I do. You was here before I was. I tell people, ants are going to be around after human beings have been long gone, okay? Ants will be walking around going, "Do you remember what those things were? I don't know. What were they called? I don't know." Human, they're calling bags of water, like in Star Trek, bags of water. And so it's a consciousness thing. It really is a conscious revolution, and it's never too late to help the earth. I was looking at this video just this morning. You remember the gorilla that did sign language, Koto?
Vaguely, yeah.
Well, this guy was talking. He was doing sign language. This is he was saying humans are crazy. Humans are nuts. Humans need to heal the earth. This gorilla was sign language that humans need to heal the earth.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like the animal definitely had the consciousness that we need. It's very weird that a gorilla would have the consciousness where a man would be like, this
because we think differently, we've been taught differently, we've been programmed differently, and it's in that we've disconnected from the natural systems that we need to reconnect to, and that's on both the energetic and the physical.
Right. They're saying the earth was put here for us to use however way we want to use it. I go, yeah, right. That's heard that before, and that's not even close to true. Not even close to true. The earth was here for all of us to live together in harmony and peace. The earth is really the Garden of Eden, which we have literally destroying left and right. And so the biology is all around us, brother. It's all around us. You just have to key into something. What I would do is I would just start a worm farming, start doing something, and have people come to you, and they would pay you. See what I do. I'm doing now. Once I get established here, I'm actually selling. People say, "Well, can I buy your liquid that you're spraying?" Yeah, $30 a gallon. Pay me $30, and it's all yours. But you got to use it right away because it's alive stuff. My customers are paying me a lot of money to use this. You're going to get a gallon, and that's what you do. Start your own business. Selling the biology to people because they need it, and you have to explain it to them. This is what you want to do. This is what they need to do. Soul biology theology. That's cool.
I like that.
Theology.
Hey, this is the Church of Biology. Come on, I invented that. The Church of Biology.
And to me, that's really damn close because I always. The more I get into energy, the more I get into consciousness, the more I realize, well, I had better be aware. See, I'm not a heavy religious guy, but man, there's something going on here that's really, really cool and has to do with the biology. I think the biology is like God, right? something going on there, because it's not a coincidence. All this falls into place. The way the earth is set up.
Chipping the genetic code of who we are is looked at by the biology before it builds the cell. So we can't do that. We have no comprehension of that in any in-depth thing. But the biology looks at your genetic code in your skin cell or your heart cell and goes, oh, this is a healthy cell. And oh, I don't have the components, or I have the components to build it. But then the other thing, Andy, that people need to key in on is every organ in your body has its own frequency and vibration. And if we can match those, then your cells are healthy.
That's right. So I've learned to not to tell people everything you do, because they think you're already crazy and they would never understand. But I've learned to horticultural consciousness. Exactly right.
Biologic.
I like that. That should be a title of a book. Yeah. And it's really very, very interesting, because I told you earlier that the water follows the energy. The energy, the biology follows the water. And the whole thing about it, I talk a lot about structured water, how the water has the information in it that we need. And we take that information and we use it. So the whole thing is so interconnected. Unfortunately, us human beings seem to want to be separate, and yet we have the balls to say that we're not. And we're not very healthy if we're not connected to the biology. We have to, I keep telling people, we are the biology, right? When we talk about the soil, my whole thing, I keep telling people, we are a soil. We are the soil, right?
Yeah.
See what I mean? And that's a different way of thinking than the biology, some little microscopic creatures in the soil that we don't have to deal with.
And that's why I like to refer to the gut biology, because most people understand that now, and then they can relate. It opens up their brain to go, oh, that's the same over here too.
So it's interesting with the body too, because it, as above so below, it that basically means, okay, so you're looking at your body, your stomach, and the biology in the stomach, and how it affects your whole body. You need to look at what's out. That's one reason why one of my podcasts is called From the Soil to the Soul, right?
Yeah. And
I tell people that if you want to have a happy soul, if you believe in that, you have to have a happy body.
Yeah.
And I take it one step further. If you want to have, if the tree was going to have a healthy soil, if the birds are going to have a healthy soul, S-O-U-L, they all have levels. They better have a healthy environment, a healthy biology to live in, because it's not going to work otherwise. Otherwise, it would be like Mars.
Biology, Andy.
It would be like other planets, no biology on it. I'd like to see what Perpetual says.
He's just saying Matt's courses are rather costly.
Yeah.
Here to want to be consultants, even after discount, the microscope was what, $4K US dollars
very
after
serious
discount last year. Or serious business, not hobby gardening. It depends on how deep you want to go into any hobby. A mechanic buys Snap-on tools. There's a quick $100,000, just to get started, and that's your hobby. Woodworking, tens of thousands of dollars for machinery. So it really depends on what you want to put into your hobby and how good you want to be at your hobby.
Well, I love the idea of getting a microscope and hooking up to because one of the things I would do with it is to what I have to do is figure out how to do it on site. So go to there, because if I have to take a sample, then take it home, by the time I take it home, it's going to be a very different sample than if I was doing it right there on the job, and show the person, see, what do you see in here? Do you see anything moving or wiggling around or anything like that?
Yes.
And that to me, that's why I use a refractometer. You have to have a tool to show people, because they don't believe you. They don't believe you.
They have to understand the difference between a complex sugar and not a complex sugar. The complex, you're going to get the higher Brix reading, and that's when you have a healthy plant, which the bugs can't eat that complex sugar. They can only eat the non-complex sugar.
It's
missing
a
out.
it's a simple carbohydrates and complex carbohydrates.
Yeah, there we go.
And that's one of the things that's in my book, because it tells people this is the most important thing that I have discovered. This is the most important thing. It turns out either I discovered and people are taking using my information and passing out. All these people have discovered it also. I totally believe that lots of people are discovering the very same thing, that the carbohydrate, Mother Nature set it up so bugs love simple carbohydrates. Plants are weak and trees are weak. They produce simple carbohydrates. It's going to get the bugs and diseases. It's the same thing with our bodies. We have simple carbohydrates in our bodies. We have problems. So I think we're done. Cheers, guys. We are Earth because we are not Earth. Because we eat Earth. That's right. That's right.
Now, speaking of water, Andy, next week, guys, on Monday, we actually have Gerald Pollock, or Dr. Gerald Pollock, coming back on, the writer of the 4th Phase of Water. So you want more on water?
Cool.
Be with us next Monday on the Soil Matters.
Is that the same thing at 6 o'clock for me here?
Well, the Soil Matters starts a little bit earlier in the day on Mondays, Andy. It starts at 2 p.m. Pacific.
Okay, I have to make sure I'm not I'm somewhere where I can watch it then, because sometimes I'm working there. Then text me about because I definitely want to start watching it. Thank you guys for tuning in for our show. We got lots of stuff coming up for you here, and I really appreciate everybody here. And there are some new people here, and all you guys have the proper consciousness. Just I bet you all meditate in your own way, which is kind of cool. And so you have a bright future ahead of you guys, and we have to work together to change this trajectory that what people are doing for the soil and for the health. So take care, guys, and see you later, right?
Peace out, guys. We'll see you on this show next Wednesday.
Bye now.